And maybe that's a question you should ask China. Don't ask me, ask China that question, okay?
Said many times that the U.S. is doing far better than any other country when it comes to testing.
Yes.
Why does that matter? Why is this a global competition to you if every day Americans are still losing their lives and we're still seeing more cases every day?
Well, they're losing their lives everywhere in the world. And maybe that's a question you should ask China. Don't ask me, ask China that question, okay? When you ask them that question, you may get a very unusual answer. Yes, behind you, please.
Sir, why are you saying that to me specifically?
I'm telling
should
you,
ask
I'm not
China?
saying it specifically to anybody. I'm saying it to anybody that would ask a nasty question like
That's
that.
not a nasty
Please
question.
go ahead.
Why does it matter?
Okay, anybody else? Please, go ahead in the back, please.
I have two questions.
No, it's okay.
But
We'll
you
go over
pointed
here.
to me. I have two questions, Mr.
Next,
President.
next, please.
But you called on me.
I did, and you didn't respond, and now I'm calling on
Sorry, I just
the
wanted
young
to,
lady in the back, please.
I just wanted to let my colleague finish.
Okay.
But can I ask you a
Ladies and
question,
gentlemen,
please?
thank you very much. Appreciate
But
it.
you called
Thank you
on-
very much.
What street is this? I'm finna park this motherfucker to get the out. Oh, baby. Oh, baby, what's this, Michigan and what? Michigan and what? Ace? I'm finna park this motherfucker at Ace. On 62nd in Michigan? Somebody come get my stupid ass. Please come get me. Please come get me. Please go get me. I'm on 62nd in Michigan. Can I just park this motherfucker and go? Please come get me. Oh, shit. What you say? You,
Yep.
I saw this one. I'll probably back up again that day.
Like it's gonna be a closed casket, homie.
When did he tase him?
He probably was
Probably
run
right
after
here.
him and then tased him and then.
I'm saying that's a good tase. Shoot at him. That's a
Yeah.
solid tase.
Guess he decided for whatever reason he wanted to do a high speed.
Yeah. But he didn't think that
He
they
got
was
out
going to
and
kill
ran.
him.
He didn't think, you know, he's 21, he young, he a little dumb, so he don't always think before he do certain things. They could have tased my brother, beat him up. He could have been behind bars. But now I gotta look at him. He gonna be in the casket the next time I see him.
At the end of the day, we're here for peace. That's it. That's it. So can we get a moment of silence for that young man that was murdered tonight? That's why y'all here. Y'all didn't come here to see me. Y'all came here to pay respect for that man that lost his life tonight. So let's pray we all make it home safe.
It could be something that we didn't see on tape. There could be a lot of, it's if you saw things went off tape and then back on tape.
Can I ask about Georgia right now? There's been some dramatic video of an unarmed black Georgia man who was shot by police while on a jog. There's been a lot of protests about this. Have you seen the video and your reaction to that situation?
So I'm getting a full report on it this evening. My heart goes out to the parents and to the loved ones of the young gentleman. It's a very sad thing, but I will be given a full report this evening.
Haven't seen the video yet, to be clear.
No, I haven't.
What can you do to make sure justice is done and this doesn't end up in a racial situation?
Well, justice getting done is the thing that solves that problem. And again, it's in the hands of the governor. And I'm sure he'll do the right thing. You know, it could be something that we didn't see on tape. There could be a lot of, you know, if you saw things went off tape and then back on tape. But it was a troubling, I mean, to anybody that watched it, certainly it was a disturbing or troubling video. No question about that.
You know, the evidence is there for murder and aggravated assault, and when it's there and it reaches the level that it's required to under the law, then we're obligated to make an arrest, and that's exactly what we did.
What would you say to people who are concerned about the fact that there was a 10-week delay between this crime and when an arrest happened?
Well, I think on a human level, I certainly understand that, and I know people have questions and say, why did that happen? The only thing I can tell people is that, you know, I work at an agency and represent an agency that is committed to doing the right thing for the right reason. I think we've exhibited that in the 36 to 48 hours we've had this case. Anything outside of that, I can't ponder an opinion on it.
I believe it was a hate crime. It was one black guy and 3 white guys. This whole situation was senseless. It could have been avoided. Our brother's supposed to be here. His birthday is tomorrow. He's supposed to be here with us.
Pass them along?
Listen up, you Kentucky Fried slice of taint. I'm just calling out someone who deserves it, and I rarely call out specific politicians, but I am through the roof on this one. So I'm gonna go for it. I don't give a if your politics is blue, red, green, yellow, or purple. I don't care if you're a conservative or a liberal or a libertarian or a vegetarian. I don't care if you're left, right, up, down, sideways, or reverse. But I do care when you're a stain and you go after my home, my people, my New York. I'm talking to you, Mitch McConnell. Listen up, you Kentucky Fried slice of taint. You might have fooled a whole bunch of people in your state, but don't you ever with mine. I'm born and raised in Brooklyn. We New Yorkers have a special kind of bond that comes from growing up in the greatest city in the world, because if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, baby. It's not just in a song. When you come from New York, you can handle anything. Anything. And New York is one of the engines that drives this country. And we have been an engine since we evolved from a bunch of musket-carrying farmers into the greatest country in the world. We were a big city when your grandpappy was still in holes in the ground. This is what McConnell said a couple of days ago, and even Republicans said that this is really wrong. Mitchie Boy said the blue states should not get bailed out, that the blue states should file for bankruptcy. First of all, if you don't know what declaring bankruptcy would do for a state, how horrible it would be for police and fire and all the public services that are provided, then go use your Google machine and go learn something. Second of all, I'm so sick and tired of this blue state, red state bull. Don't you realize that there is no state that only votes one way? So there are red states that might have 49% Democrats or vice versa. What are you going to do? On an entire state because they have slightly more blue voters than red? That's how you take care of the red voters? And these are all American citizens who need help. Stop it already with the divisive bullshit already. You are such a awful, disgusting person. Here's the reality, Mitch Stain. Kentucky receives more federal funds than it pays back to the federal government every year. Kentucky receives more federal money than every state except two. Guess who's on the opposite end of that spectrum every year? New York pays more in taxes to the federal government than they get back. They are number 3 behind New Jersey and California. That's right. We pay more to the government than we get back. You, on the other hand, mooch from the government every single year. And so the reason why Kentucky gets all this money is to give their residents is because of New York and the other states like New Jersey and California. Year after year after year. New Yorkers get up every day and fight traffic and overcrowding and go to work for this country. What do you do every day, you mint julep drinking ghoul with no chin? Now look, I have nothing against the people of Kentucky. Why would I? I love the Kentucky Derby. I used to love the Kentucky Colonels with Louis Dampier and Artis Gilmore and Dan Eisel, whatever the his name is. I love bluegrass. The people of Kentucky don't bother me, and I don't bother them. But Senator Sacco opened a can of worms. Who the hell are you kidding, you partisan pot of piss? Have you ever had a job, you turtle-headed taint licker? No. But you're going to sit there and play games with people's lives and money that New Yorkers need now because you're going to play the lib blue conservative red game bull? If it wasn't for all the states that work hard and make it happen, you'd be catching crawdads at the fishing hole while banging your sister's brother's aunt, you backwards ass bag. Don't you with New York, because we are down right now. That will come back to bite you in the ass someday, because we will be back. We will remember what you sons of bitches said and what you tried to do. We are the United States of America, and you are actually trying to take advantage of how states get help in the middle of a pandemic by playing party politics with my fellow New Yorkers' lives and livelihood. I don't think so. You're a ghoul, you pipe. You have been the single worst virus in this country. Leave the people and the state and the city of New York alone, McConnell. Now go strap on your truss, rub in your hemorrhoid cream, put in your teeth, and go get your shine box.
If you are not concerned about your responsibilities and you're only concerned about your rights, you're just selfish. Because in every right, there is an inherent responsibility. It's a hot topic right now. Everybody's talking about their individual rights. If you want ultimate freedom, you want the right to do anything, anything as long as you are not infringing on somebody else. And that's the society I want. There's a catch to that, though. If you have the right to do anything, you also have shared responsibility for everything. In the U.S., at least, when people talk about their rights, they talk about the enumerated ones, the ones listed in the Bill of Rights in our Constitution. Most people really only know the first two amendments, to be honest. You have the right to free speech. It's in the First Amendment. Was it so anybody could say any silly little thing that popped into their head? No, of course not. It was there so society could advance. It was there to protect new ideas, so people could advance a controversial theory and it not be labeled as heresy. So you could criticize your government. That's why it's there. In order to do that, you have to know how your government works. Inherent in the right to free speech is the responsibility to become educated. So what you say actually has value. You have the right to an assembly, to peaceably assemble. You have the responsibility not to block off a hospital when you do it. That seems like it should go without saying. We'll just go ahead and skip to the Second Amendment. It's the one most people are familiar with, and typically the people who view this right as sacred are the biggest offenders. Shall not be infringed. The right to keep and bear. Cool. Why? It's actually written in this one. They made it real clear. Because at any moment, you can be called forth to protect your community. That's the responsibility that goes along with it. We got a whole bunch of people out there talking about how they're ready. They are ready to defend the country and individual liberty. I'm supposed to trust you in a firefight. I can't even trust you not to make unnecessary trips to the store to get Twinkies. You will pardon me if I don't sleep soundly with you on watch. You're going to make the ultimate sacrifice for truth, justice, the American way, mom and apple pie and all that stuff. But you can't make the sacrifice of staying home and watching Netflix to protect your community. These same people all of a sudden, well, we have to get the economy back on track because of those poor people. Those poor people. If people actually cared about those we are deeming essential now, they'd probably have a living wage, probably have access to health care, stuff like that. But it's those who have focused solely on their rights and not on their responsibilities, their obligations to humanity, to society. Don't do that. It just reeks of privilege. And it's extremely transparent. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good night.